Great sunrise, family. I hope all is well with you out there as it is with me here. Today, I wanted to kick off the week because I think my discussions this week is going to be on mental health because it was brought to my attention that this is Mental Health Month, May. So I got DOD here with me as well, so he can chime in on some things upon this topic that I'm going to be discussing about the need to control others, a need to
Mm,
conquer and control others, but don't have that lacking in self-control. And I'm going to be going over this article as well. So DOD, you like to say anything so far?
Yeah, I want to thank you very much for having me on your show today.
Hmm.
And for the people that are coming into the chat or who may watch this um, live stream on the replay, hit the like button. If you have the capability, share it out. Support the sister channel. Peace, everybody.
Thank you, D. So, as we know, there's a big case going on right now with Johnny Depp and his ex wife, uh, Amber, Amber Heard. And I don't know if a lot of you have been watching that case, but I don't want to get into it because I'm going to be actually talking about the case tomorrow. But I want to talk about and talking about the psychology that is working within the case because it's important. I feel like it's important for us to know the psychology because knowledge, like they say, knowledge is power. And what you learn, you know what to look out for, what to watch for out here. And you don't have to experience what many of us have already had to experience in our lives. Uh yes, as far as what they call narcissists, people, you know, controlling people, people who like to control people, but lack that control in themselves. Now, before I talked about a relationship I got myself into with someone I worked with that I became friends with, and you know, that mistook my kindness for other things. So this person had mental issues that wasn't aware of and had alcohol issues, was an alcoholic, but also had mental issues. And was a bit older than me, was way older than me in age. And you know, you don't that's why I say you got to be really, really careful about the energies or what you run into in life. And you got to kind of sit back and observe things because that person is not going to show you. You're not going to see how people are right off the bat, but you can get some kind of idea of it. And I'm telling you from my experience of that, I was terrified of that experience. And I talked about it before, and I really don't want to repeat myself about it. It was just like almost an abusive situation. Almost an abusive situation because this person wanted me to go out drinking with them and they were in and out all through the night to the day, and became more controlling and tried to get violent and did get violent, but luckily I was not in that apartment when they got violent. I left the apartment when they got violent, when they tried to go get violent. Because, you know, as a person who wanted, at the time I was young and I wanted to market myself. So in marketing myself for like commercials, TV, whatever I wanted to do, you cannot, afford to have a disfigured face. You know, you can't afford to have your teeth knocked out of your face. You can't afford none of those low, crazy things, nonsense things happening to you. You know, especially when you're not. I wasn't even in a serious relationship with this person, so I definitely wanted to move on in my life. So this person, finally the police came and took this person, like I said, destroyed my apartment. The police immediately came. They barricaded themselves in the apartment. The police had to get in. They got the person. They had to really get the person, struggle to get the person. It was like not like something like where I call the cops and they come and do a report and then the person is there calmly. No, this was a person erratic, just crazy acting. And they did have mental health issues that I wasn't aware of. So, you know, I just couldn't see the person ever again. I just cut them off completely, went to court. I got the help I needed. And it was so bad I couldn't even really. It took time because his brother called me while he was in jail and I was terrified because I didn't know his brother that well. But as I thought it was his way of trying to get back in touch with me because he did try that. But I did not want that. I did not want to get back in touch with him ever again. So his brother was just trying to get his belongings. So I didn't have to deal with him. I didn't have to deal with anything really with him anymore. Uh, so his brother, all his stuff, I had packed up in the car, waiting outside with the key to the car. So that's how terrifying and how I don't didn't really want to ever experience that or see him again, because I didn't know if my life, was just like my life was flashing before me. So I didn't. It took a while. I was afraid to be in my apartment. I became even more suicidal. It was terrifying. Um, Depression, just like I started feeling like something wicked was in my apartment because of what he did. He killed my two birds I had. My television, he must have poured liquor down my television. My whole apartment smelled like burnt electric. It was just horrifying. I think he let my birds out the window. But it was just after a while, he just came and invaded my space and made it not safe at all. So that's my experience with a person who wanted to control, who was controlling. And like I said, that was a very, 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 very terrifying experience that it was even hard for me to really go to court over it. Very, very tough. I felt shame. You do feel shame. Uh, it's a lot. It's a lot you feeling. Yeah. So just saying that, you know, but, now in my life, I don't carry around that victimization like I'm a victim at all. I almost forgot about being a domestic violence victim. I forgot about that. I don't, I'm no one's victim. So once you've done something about your situation, if you're able to, because I know not all people are able, realistically, not all people are able to really have people bring people to justice that have done things to them. And I've had times in my life where that has happened, you know, in my childhood. Some things people just get away with. But then when you're able to hold people accountable for what they've done. And you know, that's important. But like I said, with my brother's situation, he wasn't able to hold her accountable for anything, and she's never been held accountable for anything. But she's going through her life, um, and leaving bodies along the way, you know, and it's sad. That's sad. Um, Especially when there's children. There's children that have to deal with that situation with mental health, with their mom being mentally ill. You know, do you have anything to say about that, D?
Well, I know you have mentioned that story before.
Uh huh.
Um, and again, like I said, I'm sorry you guys had to go through that, but I'm glad to see that you come out on the other end much stronger and
Mm,
more wise to the situation. And I'm quite sure that if there's anyone out there that's maybe going through it now or has gone through it but haven't gotten any help for it, I'm quite sure if they were to contact you, that you can help them through it in some kind of way.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like I said,
Yeah,
I'm always here to help people, not you know, not just myself,
right.
but things do help you in the long run of helping other people. You know, uh, like like I said, I almost forgot. I didn't even label myself a DV victim, uh, domestic violence victim, because he
Right.
didn't touch me. I never, I didn't allow it. I
Right.
escaped, and I just, I guess, it's not easy. You can't just tell people that they can, because that they're going to be able to win in a situation, and you don't know the situation. You know, um, give them false um, hope. or false. But I guess to be realistic, some would say that I think it's not impossible. I want to say it like this. I don't think it's impossible not to I don't think it's impossible to prevent victimization. But I think it's hard for people to know when someone's trying to prey upon them.
Right.
And I think because it's hard to recognize someone if they have a mental health issue. It's very, very hard to recognize that. But you can be careful and mindful and aware of everything around you to prevent to prevent those things. You see what I'm saying? You agree with that?
I agree.
Yeah, that because realistically, sometimes things surprise us, and you know, but that's why I always give that idea of our sensing, you know, sensing, being aware of our environment and who we're around, and I guess because of my experiences, and that's what I've gotten from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Is that I needed to be more aware of people, you know.
Yeah.
So let's go on and get into this article. And it's talking about this article published May the 8th, 2020. And it's May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay, experts say that isolation, grief, and anxiety some teens and preteens have endured during the pandemic has caused sharp declines in their mental health. NAMI Maine reports that in 2019 and 2020, the number of suicides among teens and preteens in the nation went down, but the number of attempted suicides went up, especially among girls. Social worker Greg Marley is with NAMI Maine. He trains school staff to recognize and address risk in students. Marley says suicide prevention requires everyone in child's life to be aware, connected, and ready to step in. Break that sense of isolation, that feeling of I'm alone. Show them regard or concern, Marley said. Ask them straight up, are you thinking of ending your life? If they say yes, or maybe, or sometimes, then you are the warm handoff. You connect them with that next level of support and you follow up. Marley says building trust with a troubled child is vital to his or her willingness to accept help. The state of Maine requires suicide prevention training for all staff that work in schools. Staff start working with students in the fifth grade. But as we know now, DOD, kids as young as really young kids are starting to think of suicide, unfortunately. And
You know what, like Bear, I wonder when they're that young, do they really understand what suicide really means? That there is no coming
no,
back.
they don't. I don't think they do, but we've seen there's been children in articles that have committed suicide
Right.
from the
Yeah.
pressures of school or not feeling like they fit in or just like the young girl in Florida, beautiful young girl, just a baby, and I never got over that. That story really made me cry. It just made me cry. Really, I was talking about it on my Facebook, and I couldn't understand why. They said she had good grades. I think what it was is she was in the foster care.
Mhm.
Foster care. Yeah. They said she had good grades, had friends. You never know. You just never know what's going on. Unless, you really talk with the children, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, having a 6 year old, uh, my 6 year old, I try to keep her up. And a lot of times she may come home. She says a lot of negative things about school. And I take her, hug her, and let her know, you have mommy. Don't have to, and the world is not negative because sometimes they may perceive in their minds situations. You see, children take things the wrong way a lot of times, especially the teacher. They may take things, be a little sensitive. The children a little bit more, maybe a little bit more sensitive. Like, so you just have to talk to them and explain to them things because they don't understand why they're feeling the way they feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
Mhm. Because peers are often the first to recognize a friend is hurting and ask an adult for help. If finding a counselor is a challenge, NAMI suggests starting with the family doctor, as many practices have counselors on staff. The main crisis line is staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 1-800-568-1112 for help. Okay. So now, let me stop that one. I was looking at, hold on a second. We was talking earlier, and I was saying how those who chose to enslave people, who chose to uh, who felt like they had to enslave other people, control other people for their lives, were basically psychotic people. I'm trying to find this article and I pulled this up and it's giving me all these images. Let's look here. Here we go. Hmm. Okay. Have you ever known anybody with BPD? borderline personality disorder or bipolar? D.
Hmm. My my first wife's sister was that bipolar.
What was your experience, or what did you observe in her life?
I wasn't around her all that much. The one time there was an issue, she was thinking that somebody was trying to kill her, and she ended up calling the police. She was visiting what it was. I lived in Oregon at the time, and she was visiting her sister, my wife.
Uh-huh.
And so in her mind, she thought somebody was trying to kill her, somebody by the name of Robert or something like that. And so she called the police, but we didn't know she had called the police until the police knocked on the door. And so my wife opened the door, and then when I was going down the stairs, dad already came in. I was going down the stairs, and the cop looked at me and said, "Is that Robert?" And my wife had to explain, "No, that's not Robert. My sister, she's just that and the third." And so they talked to both of us, and then to her, her sister, my wife's sister, and then they eventually left. So that's the only real experience that I've had with that.
With bipolar.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah. Bipolar, I think, is a little different than borderline personality disorder. They're separate things. But
yeah.
let's look at also bipolar, because a lot of people get diagnosed with bipolar, but they're not necessarily bipolar, but they may have borderline personality disorder, because a bipolar person can't control their minds,
Right.
where a borderline personality person, it's a totally different situation. It's a totally different situation. We're going to look at them too. Because I've talked about polar people before, about bipolar person. But you can't really get in a conversation with, if a borderline personality person deems you a threat, or deems that you are not gonna, if they see that you are not falling for their disguise, their tricks, like me with my brother, when he introduced me to her,
Mhm.
I didn't she they diagnosed her with bipolar, but it wasn't bipolar that she was. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's something else going on with her. Because a bipolar person doesn't methodically think out tricks, or think out, I'm going to do this and to get to this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
That's a borderline personality person. A bipolar person will be one way one day, and the next, well, 1 second, and the next second they might just turn into this totally different person at different times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, like those kind of episodes. But we're gonna look at it. Okay, let me share the screen. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. 4 types of borderline personalities. We'll look at this one first. Okay, there's 4 types of borderline personality disorders. People with borderline personality disorder, BPD, have trouble regulating their emotions. Their emotions can be intense and last for long periods of time. It's hard for them to return to a stable place after an event triggers their emotion. So, when we look at the if you haven't been watching the Johnny Depp case, have you?
No.
Okay. But his ex-wife keeps talking about his drinking and drugs. And her talking about his drinking and drugs, I wonder if that's a trigger for her. Although she does drinking and drugs herself. What do you
Yeah.
think? Could that be a possibility or would that be just counted out?
I mean, I would kind of think it would probably be discounted if they're both doing the same thing. How, how is she? Why would she be complaining about it?
Because also, let me add this in. She's sexually bi, which means she does men and women. She would marry a man and she would marry a woman. I think her first wife was a woman.
Oh,
So what I'm trying to see if, you know, she claims her father and her mother were druggies.
well, so it's
So,
passed on then.
and they claim that she may have had some childhood trauma.
Right.
So, when you when you see that and you look at that and you see that her sexuality is more like she's taking on the man's role when she's with a woman. So, in my observation of her, I see that she has issues with men in power. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
And Johnny Depp is way older than her. He's older than me. In
You know how much older they are? The
his
difference.
50s. In his 50s.
And what age is she in? What age range?
She's just 36.
Oh, okay.
She's like my brother and his wife was the one that I think is eerily similar. Hold on. Eerily similar to this one. And I think that what Johnny Depp did not pay attention to was that all the women that he ever had in the past always been women. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They never were wanted a man's role. So for me, that should have been what they call it. That should have been red flash number one was that this woman was in a relationship with another woman.
Yeah. Yeah, should have been a red flag.
That is a mental illness. I don't
Yeah.
care what I don't care what society or this place wants to call it other like normal. To me, I perceive it as mental illness.
Right.
And I think they used to back in the day call it a mental illness.
They did.
And it's actually because we have to look at these signs in life as we go. That is one telltale sign. Because I I talked about my friend before, my gay friend, before he decided to go full flash gay, because he was actually married to a woman. But hold on, let me close this door. I'm chilly.
All right.
But like I said, me and him became like real close, like brothers and sisters, like besties. We became close like besties. Uh, but there was one thing I had to deal with him, and that was what his struggle was over his sexuality. He was literally I had no clue, because all the other gay guys I've ever known in my life, they knew who they were. So I didn't deal with that conflicting personality of the struggle, and plus what we were active duty military. So he was really struggling because he had to hide it. So he had to hide himself. And that's why I say it's all mental illness, because he was putting his issues out on me. And I was taking the brunt of a lot of abuse, a lot of stuff from him. You know what I'm saying? That I should never did, or should have had to do that, put myself in that position. You know what I'm saying? You hear me, D?
Yeah, I hear you say yeah. So what did you do about it? I know he put you in a rough situation.
Yeah, he
So
was just verbally mean.
right. But how did you handle it?
Because he was sexually struggling with his sexuality.
Right, but I'm saying, but how did you handle what he was telling you? How did you
I would cry.
process it?
I would cry, just cry,
Uh,
and did not understand why he was so, being so harsh, so mean, so evil. But then, you know, because one minute he'll be a man, and the next minute he'll go back to being, girly. So it was like this struggle, this mind, this mentality of struggling, and that's why I say, you know, from my experience, it's deeply, it's a mental issue, you know, and Johnny Depp took on a mental issue with this girl and he didn't know what he was allowing into his life, because he didn't see the sign that was different from any other relationships that he had ever been in his life in the past. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So this was something new. This was something different. She was way younger. She was into other women. But he took her on. But I think her only emotional trigger Johnny Depp having control over his own life.
So you don't think she liked that?
I'm getting to feel like she wants to be Johnny Depp.
Ah,
That's why I'm saying that.
yeah.
That's
So
what
that's
I
one of those. That's one of those personality disorders.
Yes,
One
definitely.
of the, yeah. Okay.
And the psychologist that went on this stand, what she did was she laid out this woman's whole uh because right now she's on the stand. This woman's whole what you call it when you're on the stand and you're talking, your whole trying to influence the jury.
Right.
Her whole recounts of everything that's happened has been this psychologist uh, for Johnny Depp, who is Shannon Carey. That's been her whole. She has really laid out her whole what she's trying to influence the jury with. She said she'd let the jury know ahead of time. She was able to do that when she was on the stand. Lay out the classic borderline personality disorder person and what they would do and what they would say and how they would talk. So now, when the jury listens to her, she is that classic uh, borderline personality
Yeah.
that they're actually witnessing. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But she doesn't even though she's on there lying her ass off, but and saying all kinds of things, telling, she already admitted that she wrote the op-ed, which I think that's part of mental illness. That you're going to slip. Your mind can't always be on top of things because you know, if someone's not able to control themselves, but they have this need to control others, their mind is is not going to be able to, it's going to be like wired in a self-destructive way. While they're thinking that somehow they're being constructive, it's it's coming out destructive.
Right.
It's destroying them, not helping them. So when we see people that are trying to like the what they call them, I don't know, I already forgot. Let me see. I'll get in here in a minute. I'm just what's the uh picnic, what they call them, not picnic, but what's the names you give to those white women that meddle in your business when you and call the police on the people?
Or Karens.
Karens, yes. So when you get a Karen, oh, I didn't forgot what I was too busy trying to figure out what I was what you call people.
Karens.
Oh, Karens, because Karens like to control situations and people. That's what I was.
Right.
That's what makes them Karens.
Yep.
So that's a certain type of narcissist that wants you to not be able to cook out in that park that moment while she's walking by. So she's going to call the police and have them say, she's going to tell the police that you're the problem when she's really the problem.
Yeah.
She's projecting.
Right.
So that in itself is a mental illness. Because I can't see myself, you know, getting mad at somebody in the park doing what they're doing. I just can't. What's my reason? What's my reasoning for that?
Yeah. What is the motivation?
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
I want to? Do I want one of their steaks they're grilling? Am I just drooling at the mouth and I can't get a steak and I feel like they're not going to give me if I ask? That I'm going to
Yeah.
call the police? That would be my only motivation.
Yeah.
Them not sharing. But other than that, I just don't see maybe carrying one of them cheese one of them barbecue burgers or something. I just
Or a rib or something.
yeah, I
Some
know.
potato some potato salad with no reason.
She didn't get invited to the barbecue,
Right.
to the cookout.
Yeah. To the grill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's wild how people don't have self-control, but they want to control others. So, I don't know. It's so much issues that people end up developing. Like I was saying about Amber Heard, her developing an issue with men that she doesn't know. She may not even perceive or know that she has that. She just acts it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people just act out those things. They don't they don't know it in themselves. They just think that that's normal for them,
Yeah.
you know, to be like that. And she lied and said she never heard of Johnny Depp before,
Really?
but she talked about him when she was younger in an interview
Wow.
before they got involved.
Yeah, so that goes to show you she has some type of mental issue.
Yeah, she admires him to the point that sometimes those obsessions can be very deadly.
Mm. Yeah, that's
She
true.
wants to be him and probably came to a point. She may, I even think sometimes that she may have been one of those Misery fans. You know the movie
Yes,
Misery?
excellent. Yeah, that's an excellent example. Yeah.
Yeah, I see her now that they tell the story, and she actually brought that idea to me when she talked about being from Austin, Texas, a
Hmm.
small town outside Austin, Texas. And all I could see was this young girl who wants to be a boy, and she just admired this actor.
Yeah.
And so she found her way because she said she did a movie in her hometown. And, a lot of times they come around and they put locals in their movies. And so I guess she got in like that from the sounds of everything. And she was in a movie, and then later somehow went to get cast for another movie that Johnny Depp was attached to, I think about in 2008. And they had a scene together, and they hit it off from there, I think, a little bit. But it didn't go nowhere. It didn't go nowhere. But he was starting to fall for her.
Hmm.
So that's how that's a classic element movie to me. You don't know why something is coming your way, but it comes your way.
Right.
And then when and then come and find out they planned it the whole time. You see what I'm saying? You never know.
That's true.
because it's the methodic thoughts. It's been having a method, a way of doing things. To me, is what I see, and I wonder if we're going to see it in this paragraph here, if it's like that. The exact cause of BPD isn't clear. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. So they said the exact cause of this isn't clear. Experts think it may be a combination of a few things like genetics, environmental factors, and brain function. Several risk factors can make a person more likely to experience BPD. One of these is having a parent with BPD or any other mental disorder. This article looks at symptoms of borderline personality disorder and its 4 types. Borderline personality disorder symptoms. People with BPD have mood swings and can feel unstable and insecure. Other symptoms may include fear of being abandoned, now, there's a tape that they played, and she was in fear of him leaving on many occasions. I wonder if, because he's a busy man, he has his band and he has, the acting, right? So he has different things he has to go to. But she's emotional, at times unstable and insecure. And she had those mood swings, from the video, from the hearing on the audio, you know. So she would beg him to, to not leave because of she didn't know that he wanted to leave and get out of the environment because she was having these mood swings or she was being unstable. And for his sake, he was trying to not abandon her, but she perceived him getting a breather or going away as abandonment. And I had to deal with this in my life. I mean, how can you be on a job, D? You hear me, D?
Yeah, I'm here.
How can you be on a job and then people get up, then your boss is upset because you walking you going away to the bathroom.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, it's just control, it's just obsession that
Yeah.
we have to endure. And I couldn't understand that. If I'm telling you I have to go to the restroom, let me take a break, let me go, you know. And you have an issue with that, you know. It's just crazy. They may frantically try to avoid real or imagined abandonment by friends and family. So it could be a real experience or it can be just an imagined experience of abandonment, that when someone says I'm going to go here for about an hour, they start to have, have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Unstable relationship with others. They may switch between looking up and looking down on the people they are close to. Amber, she looks down on Johnny because of what he is doing with himself, with his life. She's looking down on it. Now, he doesn't do drugs no more, but she still talks about the drugs like it's present tense. But he's sober. He's been through detox.
Yeah. Clean right now.
Uh-huh. But I guess that's when she's talking about the story, the events that took place. But she should be saying when he was. But she's talking, still trying to defame him. She's still, to me, when I see her on the stand, she's still trying to throw those punches of defamation at him. She's still trying to make him look bad, no matter what.
Yeah.
But don't take no accountability for anything. It's like she's been this perfect, quiet person. And she wants to say she's got PTSD, but she doesn't want to admit to a prior diagnosis of bipolar or this new upcoming diagnosis that she was examined, and they found her to be a borderline personality disorder. But she doesn't want to take that. She wants to say post traumatic stress. And I think, as a person that's been through, I think I understand to a certain degree, but she also got to recognize there's something called prior prior things that you may have been through that have been irritated by the present things. And that's nobody's fault but her own. And she will never be a, be a woman enough to stand up and say that, yes, I contributed to the situation. She would probably never be woman enough to contribute to say that she contributed to her own traumas, because she did not have to take on the challenge of trying to become a Johnny Depp. But she chose to take on that with all the things that he was known for. But that's what she admired too, D. You see.
Yeah.
But yet she wants to throw it in his face because she's like, this woman, man, is coming and I'm going to take the spot, and I'm all of us women, men, we're going to come and take the place of the men. Basically, that's the way I see it. Like, she wants to be the next Johnny Depp. Female, half male.
Mm. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Let me ask you, have you checked the numbers? Have you checked the numbers? If we did a search, anything, or some research on who has more mental health issues, men or women?
Well, it's equal. I can tell you it's equal across the board because, like I wanted to go into, but it's too general. It's too broad because I can't attack the country. Okay, I talked about this before. The foundation of this country is built on mental illness. So it's going to trickle through the people. It's going to be allowed to spread. So I don't see it as they said, now the psychologist said there's certain illnesses that are more prevalent in women. And this borderline personality, you're only going to find women have it. Matter of fact, white women, majority of the time. Anything like my brother's wife, ex-wife, she was a white woman. She was mixed. I call her white woman because that's what she used. She used her white woman capabilities against my brother in court. The battered white woman. So
The shout, shout out to D Calico. He's in the chat.
hey D. Yeah, his ex-wife could pass for white. Her mom was black. Her mom's father is actually a Black Panther, one of the original Black Panthers from out of
Oh, okay.
Ohio. And the daughter got, she was back and forth between her mom and dad. She got mad at her father and decided to bone a white boy and got pregnant.
Wow.
Well, have sex with a white boy and got pregnant because she can't bone him, but I guess non is bone.
I know what you meant. I know what you
to So basically, she got pissed off with her Black Panther father and produced this child. Now we know the mom got issues. So of course the child is going to have issues. The child's going to have double the issues
meant. Yeah.
because she's this Caucasian. She's half Caucasian, half white, and been raised in Kentucky been raised in Kentucky. So that's an issue in itself. So it says several risks. Did I already talk about these? Yeah, they said genetics, environmental factors, brain function. And several risk factors can make a person more likely to experience BPD. One of these having a parent with BPD or any other mental disorder. This article looks at the symptoms of borderline personality disorder and its 4 types. Borderline personality disorder symptoms. People with BPD have mood swings and can feel unstable and insecure. Other symptoms may include fear of being abandoned. We already talked about that. Unstable relationship with others, distorted and unstable self image. People with BPD may have a poor self image and be very self critical. So I think I think in their minds, they may see this image and they may be able to get over this uncomfortable, distorted, and unstable self image by seeing a picturing an image they want to subscribe to, they want to become. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And going for that image. And I think that acting and modeling allows for people like that to do this. You see what I'm saying? You see from that distorted and unstable self-image, they would be able to make it feel better by focusing on something that they can help themselves to become more stable by taking on another image
Right.
because they and then projecting. So they're pretending.
Hmm. Yeah.
Impulsive behaviors that can have dangerous outcomes. They may engage in excessive spending, which she was supposed to give 3,350,000,000, I think, or 3,500,000, somewhere in there. Part to ACLA or ACU, yeah, LA, something like that. And then the other one to the Children's Fund, right?
Hmm.
She gave nothing. She had other people give, and she didn't give zero to the Children's Fund, but she had other people give to the ACUL or something like that.
Yeah.
So basically, she wanted Johnny Depp's money so she can continue her excessive spending or her unset excess this having this impulsive behavior because we're all like, where's the money? At least I am like, where's the money? And she's asking for 100 million counter suing Johnny. So she's asking for more money.
Of course.
That
Yeah.
tells me that she has some kind of issues, that something's going on. That what she has is not enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Self-harming behavior. People with BPD may threaten or attempt suicide. That's why I said she must be on some volumes. She must be on some volumes or something to keep her calm while she's in there and positive because I see why her why they wanted to shut down before she got up there for her testimony. They wanted to say throw the case out. Her side did
Right.
because they wanted to prevent her from going through what she's got to go through.
Yep.
And that's why I said she's already given the case, and I don't see why they just don't say Johnny wins because at this point she's not going to be able to handle the truth. Let's just put it that way. She's not going to be able to handle the truth. And this, self-harming, if that's one of the things that they got to deal with, that's a possibility.
It definitely is.
Yeah. Periods of intense mood. They may have periods where they feel very irritable or anxious. These periods may last from a few hours to a few days. Then feeling bored or empty. These feelings may go on for long periods of time. Anger, they may be intense, inappropriate, or uncontrollable. These outbursts are often followed by feelings of shame and guilt. Disassociative feelings. People with BPD may feel disconnected from their thoughts or a sense of identity. They may also have stress related paranoid thoughts. And sometimes people take drugs to get over or to run away from a lot of these issues here, because this is the reality, evidently, and it's hard to deal with. People with BPD tend to view things in extremes, such as all good or all bad. Their opinions of others can change quickly. This is one reason why people with BPD tend to have unstable relationships. People with BPD have a strong feelings of insecurity and can experience mood swings. Other symptoms may include fear of abandonment, poor self-image, and unstable relationships with others. Types of borderline personality disorders. These are 4 types of borderline personality disorder. You can be diagnosed with more than one type at the same time or different times. And here we go. You got the petulant, petulant, unpredictable mood swings, a passive aggressiveness, and a need to feel in control. And that's a petulant. Petulant. Discouraged, fear of being abandoned, neediness, emotional mood swings. Of course, we know they're self destructive, partaking in self harming and abusive behaviors, impulsive, binging, risky, and aggressive behaviors. Impulsive borderline personality disorder. Impulsive behavior is primarily a symptom of BPD. A person with BPD can act in an impulsive and often dangerous ways. They may do this without regard for others or possible consequences. People with this type of BPD may appear charismatic, energetic, elusive, detached, flirtatious, engaging, or motivating. Now, when it comes to Amber and her being, even when she was sitting with her lawyers, she was actually flirting. She was flirting with the jury. And that I'm going to get into that tomorrow with the psychology of evil. Now, this flirting that she was doing it in a way playing on some of the men's weaknesses. Now, um, this is, the psychology. This is part of what they do in secret, and that no one really can see what they're doing or tell what they're doing. You know, you just have to really be aware of these things. It's very, it's very dangerous to me
Yeah.
because She is trying to get things in her favor, but she knows that certain looks, certain ways can turn a man on. A weak man at that, you know. I'm not saying that there's weak men in the jury, but I did hear that there's majority men in the jury. On the jury. Hey D, you have anything to say? I
No?
probably should pull up a video and let you at least see her flirting.
Okay, sure.
You
Yeah,
agree with the jury?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let me see if I can find that video where she was flirting. But it's not the flirting that you would, it's the flirting that, if you know, for this illness, there's a certain kind of woman that knows that within this illness, you know, how to get psychologically pull in a man mentally. You get my grift. You get what I'm trying to relay.
Yep. I fully understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And
You're
I
trying to
call
manipulate. She's trying to manipulate.
the jury.
Right.
Yes. Let me see here. Because she's sitting with her lawyers, but she does these different hairstyles. That's part of it too.
Mm.
That's really flirtatious. Uh, now that she's on the stand, she's still flirting with them, but she's using personality. She's using personality. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to see if I can find a video that has. Let me see. Let me do this. Oh, I'm just gonna say her in court. Uh, okay, because she was. I want the pictures of her when she was not on the stand, but she was actually. Okay. I probably have to go to incredibly average. That's probably what I have to do because he's got those that are not commentary. And average. Okay, let's go here. And I can get those videos and show you. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Hold on. Okay. Let me see if this is the one.
Hey guys, welcome back again. Pretty quick turnaround between this video and the last one. Part of the reason for that is because
I'm gonna cut it down so I can just go through this. I don't want to go and show the ones that are not in the. Okay, videos. Old one. I don't see. I'll probably do better online. Do better on the. All right, hold on a second. Okay. Maybe I think the one I was looking at earlier. Let me go to history. That's going to be it. I should have had this. Sorry. Okay. No, not that one. I think it. I know. I know it's not when he was testifying. I think it's when that doctor was up. Okay, here we're gonna look at it. Okay, here. This is the best. This is the best one. Oh, if I can get this one. Okay, here. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get this here. You're gonna be able to see her. And the psychologist, I say the one
overly dramatic presentation. We call this impressionistic speech. So it tends to be very flowery. It uses a lot of descriptive words like magical, wonderful, and it can go on for quite some time, and yet it really lacks any substance. So at the end, you're left wondering what was just said. Yes, that's to the left would be where the wall-mounted phone was. Imagine up and to the left at person height, at site height, was and I don't know if it was antique, but it kind of looked old-fashioned, like an old-fashioned heavy. It looked heavy. I didn't pick up the receiver, but it looked heavy when I was watching it break. You know, it looked like these like really heavy glass. Excuse me, it's really thick, heavy, not plastic, but like a Bakelite or something heavy material, and that's my best guess. So that would have been to the left, and then to the right would have been the very end of the bar that you just saw a picture of. That's around that, not around, that's next to that. All the way at the end of the picture is the bar where I was standing when he was at me.
Okay. You get to see some of that, but it's before she was ever took the stand. She is flirting there. She's flirting when she's, with them, trying to get them to take her side, basically. So to believe her. But there's a better video. So let me try to see. that I saw earlier, but I don't know. A lot of my history gets mixed up. Some I don't even see. But let's see here. Was it when Johnny Depp was talking? No, because she was. It may have been this one. Because I know one of them, she's just like, while he's talking, she's just looking emotionalist. And like she wants to, um, she has this stern face, and that's not what I'm talking about because I guess it's basically when she's looking away from them.
It's not going to be pleasant. I was well aware that
Let me see something here. I don't think it's that video either.
I was going to go through quite a bit of
Gotta remember who's. I think it was her.
physical changes, physical.
This video might be the most important one I've made to date. I plan to reference it in future videos, so it would definitely benefit you to watch it if you do plan to watch any of my future videos that will be more in step with what you're used to seeing from me, which is breakdowns, in-depth observation, and analysis.
That's not it. Hmm. Yeah. Trying to remember who was up. I think her psychologist. Okay, it may have been here.
I'll ask you about that. We'll get there.
We'll see in a minute.
So, you know that Ms. Hurd stopped seeing Dr. Jacobs in August 2014.
That's correct.
And she didn't go back until after she got sued, right?
I believe that's the date. I'd have to look to make sure, but I believe that you're correct.
And you said you reviewed you interviewed Dr. And you testified yesterday that Dr. Cohen never diagnosed Ms. Hurd with any personality disorders. You remember that?
Jury.
Yes.
In fact,
Yeah.
Dr. Cohen's deposition testimony reflects the fact that he doesn't make diagnoses, correct?
Correct. And I asked him specifically, did he have any indications that even if he doesn't, as his practice, use them, does she meet criteria for a personality disorder? And he told me she did not.
All right. So you asked him specifically with respect to a topic you haven't disclosed in your expert report, and then he made a conclusion that's reflected in no document.
It's reflected
That's
in
a
my
nonverbal
notes. It's reflected in
notation.
his notes about what he's treating. He's treating the symptoms. He's not focusing on the diagnosis, but he is treating the symptoms.
You talked about Dr. Cohen's concern for Ms. Hurd's safety.
Correct.
He wasn't talking about her physical safety, was he?
Yes, he was.
No, he was talking about her emotional safety. Wasn't that what he was talking about?
He was concerned for both.
Okay.
So you got an example of that. And then
Did Dr.
I think
Cohen testified that he never had the feeling that Johnny intended to
Depp
hurt
said
Ms.
so.
Heard?
I believe he said that. I mean, he talked about Mr. Depp being very poorly controlled, and that's what made him, Dr. Cohen, concerned, because in those moments when he was not controlled, that he could accidentally seriously hurt Ms. Heard.
Let's do this again. Ms. Heard told Dr. Cohen that Mr. Depp was poorly controlled, correct?
That's not correct.
Okay. He determined that from the treatment he was providing Ms. Heard.
And he also had a couple session with Mr. Depp, and he also had correspondence with Dr. Kipper. So we had other information as to Mr. Depp's functioning.
All right, you talked about Dr. Banks.
Correct.
Dr. Banks was doing relationship consulting, right? Consultation and relation.
Correct.
And Dr. Banks only met with them once.
Correct.
All right. And you did an interview, I think, with Ms. Heard's mother, Paige.
That's correct.
You'd agree with me that a person's family member is not the most objective source of information?
Sometimes you have to certainly control for that the person may be wanting to be protective of their daughter, of course.
okay, we're gonna look at Johnny
you
Depp's.
interviewed
I
Ms.
think it's when
Paige Heard
she was talking
after
to-
Mr. Depp.
But that's one example. But I'm gonna show you. Try to show you another example.
And just to give context, remember I was asking you what percentage of people you treat that are perpetrators, and you'd said 5%. Recall that, just for substance?
I see that here.
Okay, and then I said, of the 5% that are IPV perpetrators that you've treated over the last 8 years, how many of these perpetrators have substance abuse issues? And your answer was?
I see that I answered with a figure of speech, a large portion.
Okay, thank you. And it's common for the perpetrator to essentially gaslight the victim,
I wanna
accuse
see
them
the
of
other
being the
one.
perpetrator.
Let me go to the other one. Look that one. Not that one. Okay, this one. This is it right here. This is it right here, D.
Dr. Curry,
Okay.
you're not board certified, correct?
Because you know,
No,
she
I'm
had her
not.
hair down,
Not
and
in
then
clinical
she took it out.
psychology or in forensic psychology, correct?
No, I'm a licensed clinical psychologist.
But you're not board certified.
No,
Okay. And you also have only been practicing approximately 8 years, is that correct?
that's not correct.
How many years?
I've been licensed for 10 years,
Okay.
and I've been practicing for about 15 years.
Okay. Now, you went to Mr. Depp's home for dinner and drinks before you were hired as an expert in this case, correct?
That's not quite right. I was interviewed at Mr. Depp's home by his legal team. Dinner was served.
You, in attendance with Mr. Depp was Adam Waldman, correct?
Yes,
Ben Chu, correct?
yes,
Camille Vasquez,
yes,
okay. And the dinner lasted approximately 3 to 4 hours, correct?
yes,
And it included
interview.
drinks, correct?
yes. Dinner and I believe drinks were served.
And this was before you were hired as an expert, correct?
Yes, this was an interview so that they could make an informed decision as to whether or not to retain me.
So they
And
tried
don't
to
you
make
think
like-
that's a little odd that you're getting interviewed by Mr. Depp to decide whether you're going to testify adversely against Amber Heard?
I was interviewed by the legal team.
And Mr. Depp was present. It was his home, correct?
Yes,
And he was serving dinner and drinks.
he was
Correct.
not serving dinner and
Well,
drinks.
it was at his house at his
Oh, boy.
behest, correct?
Yes, it was at his house.
Okay. And you were contacted by Camille Vasquez, somebody you knew in the community, in February of 2020. Is that correct?
I knew of Ms. Vasquez professionally. We live in the same city, and I work with many attorneys.
And at that time, you not only knew Johnny Depp, you'd seen a number of his TV and movie roles, and you believed he was a good actor, correct?
Not correct. I did not know Johnny Depp. I
Well,
had
you
seen
knew of
several of
him.
his movies.
You knew who he was,
Yes,
right? And you believed he was a good actor,
yes.
correct? Okay. And then you provided
I don't know
an
when they're
expert
gonna
designation in
get to
this
her,
case
her.
before ever seeing Amber or having an opportunity to review any documents or records. Isn't that correct?
I did not provide an expert designation. That's an attorney thing. My opinions are contained in my report.
It
was
says you
on
have
her more
3
when-
opinions. The first of those is
Okay, it
that
was
Amber
on her more
Heard,
when-
quote, exhibits.
I think it's when the psychologist was talking about her. Okay, let's see if she's gonna. This is the whole video where she's gonna be talking about her because. But anyway, whenever she looks at them, she's definitely.
Results of Ms. Heard's evaluation supported 2 diagnoses: borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder. In addition to looking for Ms. Heard's general mental status,
Wow.
any psychological issues that were present, I very specifically
You can't
was
see
assessing.
anything there. But we'll get into it tomorrow. I'm gonna do another video tomorrow, D.
Okay.
Talking about the psychology of evil and just talk about how I guess methodic, thought out, but they think it out. But once again, it's not a balanced mind that is trying to be methodic. It's a imbalanced mind. So the mind, her mind being imbalanced is going to create nothing but self-destruction. Is what I'm trying to say. So we're gonna look at just what an evil mind does. You know, it does try to destroy you, take you down with it, as we all know. So, you know, we all know it will pull you down with it. So I won't keep you too long because I have to go pick up the child, the baby girl.
Okay. Well, if you want me on your panel tomorrow, just let me know. And you drive safe. Again, thanks for the invite. Thanks for having me over. If anybody else watches this live stream, the replay, subscribe to the sister's channel and support. So she appreciates it.
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
All
And
right.
like I said, I'm gonna be getting those necklaces out as soon as I can. I never did find a shaman to really. I don't know any local shamans.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to put some stuff on the necklaces I send out, but maybe I won't need a shaman. Maybe I can do it myself because I have been like I just got some powerful stuff in the mail yesterday, and
Oh.
still trying to get some more educational stuff in the mail.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I'll talk to you guys later. True love, real peace, and the higher self within. And thank you so much, D. Calico and DOD, for being here.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, bye.